Hey, this is Blake from the Gig Harbor Fly Shop, and today we are tying the pheasant tail nymph. I was recently reading a book that said that the pheasant tail nymph probably is accounted for more trout in North America than any other fly, which I probably agree with that. Anyways, we're going to tie this fly. If you need materials and you don't have them, we have those linked in the description below to our store. All the materials today come in the Hareline material kit, but we'll also show a little variant at the end as well to get you going with a couple different ways to tie this fly. So let's get started. Okay, I'm going to start with my 8/0 Vivus brown thread. I'm going to take the ringneck pheasant tail fibers that are in the kit, and I'm going to use these pieces on the side here that kind of have like that reddish color to them. I'm going to strip off maybe 4 pieces. It's easy to make that tail too long, so keep it short. I'm tying my copper wire. One little quick thing that I do as a variation that are in the instructions in the book, instead of tying this down and cutting it off, I just make a couple wraps right where, right there where I tied it in at, and I'm gonna leave this, and I'm gonna use this as my body instead of having to use a second, instead of having to cut a second piece. So I'm gonna wrap it over those thread wraps. I'm gonna hold it in place with my index finger, and then I'm going to work it forward. When I get it to where my thread is, then I'll just wrap over an angle to tie that in. And then I'll move my wire forward. If I'm going to tie an unweighted pheasant tail nymph, I like to just put a couple extra wraps of wire for extra weight. I'll end up kind of wrapping back over them a little bit anyways. So now I'm going to take so you can tie this a couple different ways. You can tie it in, like in the book, where you just pull the pheasant tail over the top and cut it, and then you could tie legs in later or leave it off. Or you can use these for legs and tie these in. Sometimes people will cut these with the amount of legs that they want, pull it over the back, and they'll have it measured the right length, so they pull it over the back and then tie the legs. That one takes a little bit of practice to get it down. So I almost always tie these as a flashback, and so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use this pearlescent flashback material, pearlescent mylar tinsel. I'm going to tie that in first. I'm going to tie in my pheasant tail next. And then now we're going to tie in our peacock herl. I'm going to take about, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 strands. Tie these guys in. And then I'm gonna roll these around my thread, almost like I'm making a dubbing rope. And
Make a couple wraps with that. Tie that material off. So next I'm going to pull forward my pheasant tail. Then I'm going to pull forward the flashback, if you're using the flashback. And then that's how it's tied in the book, well, with the addition of the flashback. Now you can tie some legs in with this too. So I'm going to take some more of the pheasant tail. Okay, I'm just going to take my little clump, and I'm going to use the eye of the hook to kind of separate the leg pieces. And then I'm going to make a couple wraps. Okay, so now for a soft hackle pheasant tail variant. So the bead I have on here is a 2.3 millimeter, 3/32 bead in copper, bright bead. Okay, I'm going to tie my flash. I'm going to tie in the pheasant tail for my little wing case. Okay, I got my little clump of peacock here. Make my little rope. Okay, now I'm going to pull the pheasant tail back over the top. Pull the flash over the top. And then I'm going to take this Hungarian partridge that comes in the kit, and I'm going to select one of the small feathers. You might have to kind of like sort through a bunch of them to find the right one, but I'm just going to take one of these small feathers, and I'm just going to tie in. I'm just going to strip down some of the material and make this to work with a little bit easier. And I just want those small fibers at the top. So I'm just going to tie in right here at the tip. And I'm going to wrap that feather with the concave kind of going towards the back. You can just wrap it like one time to kind of make legs on it, or if you want to make it more of like a soft hackle, you could give it a couple wraps. I'm just going to do one. There we go, a little soft hackle pheasant tail nymph with a bead head and a flashback on it.
Thanks for joining us today. I hope this video was helpful as you get started tying flies and coming up with different variants for some of these really popular ones. If you need materials, we got links in the description below. Make sure you subscribe to our channel so that you get updated with all the new stuff that we have coming out. We're going to continue to do videos for all the stuff that's in this book. We have a lot of other videos on YouTube as well that I hope are helpful for you. We have a beginner's guide to fly tying tools, essential skills, all sorts of different stuff. So make sure you check those out on our channel as well. Thanks.